What happens when a human gains the power of a god? Death Note, the timeless manga that pits justice against ambition, morality against power, and humanity against its very nature, forces us to confront these questions. It's not just a battle of wits between Light Yagami and L, it's a philosophical battleground where ideas about justice, power, and mortality collide. Welcome to African Reads Manga, where today we explore Death Note on a level you've never seen before. This isn't just about Kira or the Shinigami. This is about the deepest truths it reveals about us, about you. Imagine this, a single object that gives you control over life and death. The Death Note is more than a supernatural tool. It's a test of will, a metaphysical disruption that collapses the boundaries between humanity and divinity. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche might say the Death Note embodies the will to power. When Light picks it up, he doesn't just use it, he transforms. He steps beyond mortality, beyond morality, and imposes his own order on chaos. But Nietzsche warned of the dangers of this path. Power without accountability corrupts the soul. And then there's the notebook itself, is it neutral? Or is it inherently corrupting? Heidegger might argue it becomes an extension of Light's will, reshaping the world according to his distorted vision. But Light's vision, is it justice? Or is it hubris? Light and L are more than rivals. They're the embodiment of competing philosophies of justice. Light's world runs on consequentialism. For him, the end justifies the means. If he can create a utopia by sacrificing a few lives, then why not? But this is where his vision collapses. His methods, though well-intentioned, create a reign of terror. As the body count rises, his utopia starts looking like a dystopia. On the other hand, L operates within Kantian ethics. For L, morality is absolute, no one has the right to kill, even for a greater good. This clash reveals the fragility of human morality. Who gets to decide what's right or wrong? Can justice ever truly be universal? And what about you? If you held the Death Note, which side would you take? Would you be Light, sacrificing a few to save many? Or L, upholding absolute principles, no matter the cost? Death Note isn't just about justice. It's a story about the absurd. About humanity's search for meaning in a chaotic universe. Albert Camus, the existentialist philosopher, would describe Light's quest as a rebellion against the absurd. Light wants to create a perfect world. But here's the irony, in trying to erase chaos, he becomes the source of it. His rebellion turns into a cycle of destruction. Jean-Paul Sartre might remind us that freedom is dangerous. With the Death Note, Light is free to shape the world, but he abandons responsibility. His choices strip others of their humanity, reducing them to pawns in his godlike game. And isn't that the tragedy? Light could have been extraordinary. Instead, he becomes a prisoner of his own ambition. Light doesn't just want to change the world. He wants to be its god. But his godhood is hollow. The Shinigami, true gods of death, mock him. Ryak's indifference mirrors Nietzsche's concept of a godless universe, a world where divine power exists but doesn't care. Light's story parallels biblical narratives of hubris. Like Lucifer, he falls from grace, consumed by pride. He starts as a savior but ends as a tyrant, isolated and betrayed. Even in death, Light isn't immortalized as a god. He's a cautionary tale, a false deity undone by his own arrogance. Beyond their philosophies, Light and L are psychological archetypes. Carl Jung might say Light is the shadow, the darker, repressed side of the human psyche. L, meanwhile, is the ego, trying to understand and control that shadow. Their battle isn't just a clash of ideals. It's a reflection of the internal struggle between reason and desire, order and chaos. Freud might interpret Light's obsession with the Death Note as a death drive. By controlling death, he's trying to conquer his own fear of mortality. But that fear consumes him. The more he clings to power, the more he unravels. So, what is justice? Is it light's vision of a world purged of evil? Or L's insistence on rules and process? James Cass's theory of infinite and finite games gives us another perspective. Light plays a finite game. He wants to win, to dominate, to end the game with him as God. L, in contrast, plays an infinite game, chasing truth and understanding without an end goal. And maybe that's the lesson. Justice isn't about winning. It's about the journey, the endless struggle to do what's right in an imperfect world. In the end, Death Note isn't just a story. It's a mirror. It forces us to confront the darkness within ourselves. If you held the Death Note, what would you do? Would you rise above? Or would you fall like light? This has been African Reads Manga. Thank you for diving into the depths of Death Note with me. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.